With 2 days until the monthly candle close, Bitcoin is retesting the range high of the last 7 days of horizontal consolidation. Will Bitcoin break toward the upside on the short term, or will we see a correction back to 32k? Let's go ahead and jump into the charts. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the imminent weekly candle close and the short-term price action. Is Bitcoin preparing for a break toward the upside and continuation, or will we see a correction toward the lower part of this high time frame horizontal range? Alongside that, we'll go over the traditional markets, market data, upcoming economic news, and everything in between. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical and structural information, and of course, the relevant economic news. No hype, no BS, no emotions, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you're interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the third link down below. You will get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and of course the relevant economic news. Posts will resume on the 1st of November within this channel. If you are interested in taking advantage of the VIP sale, we have a 30% off sale at the moment. More information can be found within that free channel. You can go in and contact me to get access. To quickly show off the channel, you can see in here we post trading signals with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. We had 93+% win rate over 32 trades in the last 4 weeks in the last month on VIP. But not only will you get access to all of that, you will also get access to our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our news, our help, our trade setup, and of course our daily video chat. If you're interested in getting access to all of it, go ahead and contact me. Let's dive into the video. Starting on the market data. How are we looking for today? 24-hour volume is up 12.32%, sitting at 49 billion, and 24-hour liquidations have jumped up 34.81%, sitting at a total of 57 million. Taking a look at those liquidations, we can see a little bit more towards the short side, as Bitcoin did see a move back into the upper range resistance of this high time frame horizontal channel. So with that move upwards, we of course did see shorts being liquidated along the way. We have seen a small amount of long liquidations. These primarily came from these large corrections toward the downside, but these flash corrections occurred very quickly and were generally quite short-lived. Moving back from that point over to the market data, we can take a look at the volatility index. On the 30-day and the 60-day, we are starting to see that volatility index start to move downwards. And this is very, very slight, very gradual move toward the downside, but we do want to be taking a look at this moving into the coming days. Let's go ahead and jump into the DXY. The DXY is still in the green. It is still moving upwards. Of course, we have broken out of this downtrending diagonal resistance. We are in a short-term uptrend, and we are above that 50 EMA. So we are starting to look like we are continuing up into this higher range of resistance at 108 to 108.4. Of course, if we do see that continuation upwards, that will be relatively bearish for traditional markets and likely could also be bearish for Bitcoin. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Bitcoin has been going up the entire time the DXY has been going up. Why is that the case? It is not because Bitcoin is depegging from the traditional markets, because in theory, if we take a look at how markets are actually kind of connected together, they're not connected to each other. They are actually connected to each other indirectly due to their overall correlation or connection to the strength of the dollar. There are times these assets can move in opposition based on individual drivers of those particular assets, meaning we have, of course, total systematic risk, which impacts the return for both cryptocurrency and stocks. That total systematic risk is generally driven by interest rates, inflation, taxation policy, economic policy, and other government policies. And the main one, of course, being the strength of the dollar, which is tied to interest rates. However, there is one called social perspective and other governmental policies. That can directly impact an individual asset class while not impacting the entire risk asset market. And that can drive the risk up or down in opposition to the entire market, resulting in the asset deviating from its correlation with risk assets. And we can actually see scenarios of this prior to when we saw ETF news come out, when the banks were failing and we saw the ETF news, we saw Bitcoin move upwards as the DXY was moving upwards. So that doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to permanently depeg from the stock market. It just means while this ETF news is pushing the price up, while the people are pricing in the ETF approval, we have seen Bitcoin move in opposition to the stock market. And that correlation should at some point regain structure, and we should at some point see Bitcoin move in correlation with the stock market at some point once the news that has been pushing Bitcoin up dies off, or of course is completed. Moving over to the stock market, we can see the S&P 500 is not looking fantastic. It is still moving toward the downside, breaking underneath a 550-day long support line. It is not looking fantastic, expecting a move towards this lower level of support. If you have been following the channel, you know we were telling you to sell over here. We're looking for rejections, we're looking for resistance, we were looking for shorts at this point. Another perfect prediction there, moving toward the downside. Again, our next target is now sitting at 4,050. Looking at the Dow Jones again, guys, not looking fantastic. It is crazy how bad the stock markets are looking compared to Bitcoin right now. Again, underneath this yearly long support level, breaking down from this, 1+ year long uptrend in a current downtrend moving toward the downside. Again, expecting these lows to be tapped around 32,000, provided it remains underneath this downtrending diagonal resistance. If the price is able to get above the downtrending diagonal resistance, that would validate this level as support, and we are likely to push back upwards towards our next area of demand, which is around 34,500. So right now, it is looking bearish on the short term. On the high time frame, it is also looking relatively bearish. Let's go ahead and jump into the economic data, and then we'll go ahead and discuss Bitcoin and what is happening on the chart. So there are a few pieces of key information coming out very, very shortly. The main one being the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. This is paramount to the next week or so of price action leading up to it, and of course the next 4 weeks moving past it. Of course, at the moment there is a significant probable chance we are going to see a pause again. I think it was 97.5% chance we do see a pause, and a very, very small percent chance, around 2.5% chance, we actually see a reduction in those interest rates. We see a little bit of a reversal. But again, we have to wait and see what the data says. If we do come up and we see interest rates going up, that is going to be very bearish for all asset classes. And if we do see interest rates pause, that will be perceived as relatively bullish for assets. Remember, if inflation is going up and interest rates are going down or pausing, this is generally going to be bullish for assets on the higher time frame, as inflation drives asset prices up. It is only when interest rates move upwards is when asset prices generally take a high time frame tumble. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin. I wanted to briefly interrupt today's video to discuss the 2 exchanges we use on this channel, Bitget and BingX. So which exchange should you sign up to? If you look to the right hand side of the screen, you're going to see the list of differences in relation to KYC requirements and the countries these exchanges offer services to. The first link down below being the Bitget link, and the second link down below being the BingX link. No matter which link you sign up to, you're going to get up to 15% discounts on your trading fees, up to $5,000 in trading rewards, and of course, you'll get access to every single MegaWhale exclusive bonus campaign we run on these exchanges. Alongside that, Bitget and BingX are incredibly similar. They are both ranked top 10 in terms of trading volume. They both have extensive liquidity pools and market pairs offering up to 125x leverage. And most importantly, they both offer protection funds for their users to protect you against any third-party hacks. So get started now and support the channel by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening. So a lot is going on, and the most important thing happening right now is the short-term channel we're in, and that weekly candle close, as well as that fortnightly candle close we've been warning you guys and preparing you guys for the last couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and discuss the short term first and foremost. So Bitcoin has been consolidating in a horizontal consolidation now for about 6 days. We're looking just over 6 days coming into a week. Now, this horizontal consolidation is absolutely important, as it will determine the next move for Bitcoin in terms of a continuation above these levels of resistance and upwards, right, into this very low volume range, or it will confirm a breakdown and retracement towards our major uptrending support. Remember, this diagonal trend line represents the uptrend we have been in ever since, all the way back when Bitcoin was down at 26.8k. So it will retest that level, or we will see a breakdown into that 32k range. So the reason this horizontal range is important, as the breakout or breakdown will determine that next major move for Bitcoin. And that next major move for Bitcoin would be a breakdown or a breakup, will have massive implications on the health of the high time frame charts in regards to a possible monthly candle close over 32k and macro continuation upwards to 40-ish, or if we're going to see deviation below 32k and back into this high time frame range. So the short-term price action is very important and something you should definitely look at. So let's go ahead and discuss. So right now we are in that 7 day long horizontal consolidation. The most important levels you should be watching are going to be 3 places. Number 1, the lower level of support. This is going to be the range between 33,430 to 33,550. You can also see when we lose this level, when we drop below this level, you can see a huge gap in the VIPV, meaning it starts to drop down until around 32k again when it starts to build back up. That indicates this area is a low historical resistance range, okay, meaning the volume requirements for the price to push aggressively downwards are very, very low when the price drops below this level, meaning we can expect volatility to increase once this 33.4-ish K level is lost. And that volatility will be bearish volatility as the price will be losing a support, and that could drive the price down relatively aggressively to 32K or potentially this uptrending support line. And the next major one is going to be this level over here, which is its upper level of resistance, the 33, or should I say 34.8K level to the 34.65 level. This is going to be the upper level of resistance or the upper bullish trigger point, meaning if we break above this level, we'll see a relatively, or should I say, we see an equal reaction toward the upside than we would expect if we saw a downside break, meaning we'd expect volatility to increase. And with that increasing volatility, we would have bullish momentum, right? We'd have bullish momentum, and that is likely to drive the price up as it enters this low historical resistance range and likely to push the price up to fill this top point at around 36K. So we do have the potential to move back up to 36K if we are able to get above that level. So what does that mean for you? That means we are at resistance. We are retesting resistance. If you understand trading, if you've been following our channel and understand how we trade, you would know resistance is resistance until it is not. And we took some shorts right over here. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you a little short we took just a few minutes ago on Bitcoin. You can see this little short I took right over here on Bitcoin. We shorted that top level resistance, a quick 3,000 profit really quickly. Nice little scalp trade. I closed it out because I wanted to come do this video. Otherwise, I probably would have left it a little bit longer. But we did see that rejection over here. We took that short scalp into this lower area of support. And again, guys, we did see that rejection. So again, resistance is resistance until it is not. And the third thing we do have to be watching, because that was 2, and we have 1 more, is going to be the current uptrending trend line. This is represented by this black trend line. This uptrending trend line has been in play since we retested over here, which is again a few days ago at 34K, and we have been in an uptrend ever since. So we do lose this level, that would validate a correction likely back down to this lower range. So right now we are at resistance, we are still in a uptrend, therefore the probability for continuation is slightly higher. However, you can be taking high risk early entries at this level for rejections. If we start to lose these lower levels of support, particularly the one we retested at 33.44, and we lose this uptrending support line, that is when the probability for a retest of this low becomes greater than the probability for a breakout of this high, and we should expect continuations toward the downside. And again, even if we continue toward the downside, we do have this level as a support, and therefore we will not expect a high time frame breakdown to 32K until this level is broken. We are neutral. This is a neutral consolidation. Remember, we don't care about the high time frame of Bitcoin. We are traders. I'm a trader. I don't care what Bitcoin's doing in 4 weeks from now or 2 days from now even. I care about what is happening right now and how I can capitalize on the moment. So if you ask me what I think is going to happen, I'm telling you, I base my decisions off the chart. I simply trade probabilities. I don't really care too much where Bitcoin goes. I have no stake. I have no skin in the game. I'm not holding any Bitcoin. In fact, I don't care to hold any Bitcoin. I trade. I make a lot more money trading and advise in right now. If you want to make profit trading, you have to focus not only on your decision making, but also the way you think about trading, right? How you align your internal thoughts, that of which an investor or that of which a trader. A trader shouldn't have any directional biases. A trader doesn't really care what the price of the asset is. A trader only really cares about the percentage change of the asset when they enter to when they exit. An investor does care about the price of the asset, as they have something called opportunity cost. An investor can only really invest in one direction. They can only really invest in upward direction. If they miss out on a 5% rally and buy 5% higher, that opportunity cost of 5% could be pretty significant. So if you are a trader, if you find yourself trading, jumping in and out of trades, maybe you start to think more along the lines of a trader and start to turn off that investing way of thinking. If you get FOMO because the price has gone up, chances are you're starting to think a little bit more of an investor. If you see massive volatility upwards, you should immediately start to think, okay, we're seeing volatility. Has this price moved into a level of demand? Could we potentially be taking entries over here? Is there opportunities coming upwards? Anyway, enough on that. Let's go ahead and move on. So, excuse my throat there. I'm not feeling the best. So that is the short-term price action for Bitcoin. Again, we are in this little range. This again is a nice little gap range over here. Therefore, let's go ahead and quickly actually remove some stuff to show one more time and nice and clearly. This was a horizontal range over here, okay? We have pushed back into this level, and in fact, if we go down to a really small time frame, like a 5-minute chart, you can actually see we are kind of developing that horizontal range over here again. So we have that range high, right? We can take that down to our range low over here. So we do have a horizontal range on the smaller time frame, right? Which takes us into the upper level of liquidity, and also takes us into that lower level of liquidity. Again, depending on the directional break will determine the directional continuation, meaning a break below this level likely to continue downwards, and that will subsequently break that uptrending support line. A break upwards over here will likely push Bitcoin into that 34.8k level. We will either see deviation and continue downwards or a continuation upwards. So the short-term consolidation here should be something you are watching. Moving on to the higher time frame, guys, let's quickly discuss the weekly candle and the fortnightly candle, and then wrap up the video. And tomorrow we're going to be discussing all about that monthly candle close. We've got some new stuff to show you in tomorrow's video. So moving over here, starting on the weekly candle, we'll start on the fortnightly. The fortnightly candle has actually closed about 11 minutes ago. About 11 minutes ago, we saw that fortnightly, a 2-week candle close, and it closed in a very good position. It closed above the midline of the Gaussian channel, and the midline of the Gaussian channel represents what I like to think of as a confirmation point for a certain move in a certain direction. And the reason I say a certain move in a certain direction is depending on where we break that midline and in which direction of which we do enter and break the midline will determine the direction of which the price is likely to move. Meaning, if the price action is above the channel and we break into the channel, subsequently breaking below the midline, a break below the midline will increase the probability that we'll see the price move underneath the channel prior to moving back above it. So in this instance, we saw the break from below the channel into the channel. We have now officially broken a midline, and therefore we have an increased probability that the price is going to see a price point above 38k before we go back and break below 22k, if we do that at all, okay? Very important to understand that. So right now, according to the fortnightly chart, we have an increased chance of seeing 38k plus prior to losing 22k or seeing 22k. In fact, the probability of that is significant. We have not actually seen in any circumstance on the fortnightly or even the weekly chart in the history of Bitcoin on the high time frames, that pattern be abolished. And that pattern is very simple. When we break through the midline, we generally see a continuation level. We break through a midline, we'll see a continuation through it, all right? We break through a midline up over here, we see a continuation through it. In fact, there was one scenario where we didn't do that. That was all the way back in 2012. But again, the price action was so crazy back in 2012. I don't think we can take that at face value. If we move over to the daily chart even, we can take a look in more detail every single time. And we'll go to a random date to make it a little more fair. Let's go all the way back. Let's go back over here, okay? Let's go back over here. This is what, 2019. So let's take a look. Actually, we're over here. Way back 2018. So we saw a break of the midline, we go through it, okay? We saw a break of the midline, we didn't go through it in that instance. That's okay. We saw a break of the midline, we go through it. Break of the midline, through it. Break of the midline, we go through it. Break of the midline, through it again. Break of the midline, we just go above it. And we can see in basically 90% of these scenarios, we get these high time frame swings that actually do play out on the broader scale. Particularly when we look at high time frames, the probability of these continuations become more and more accurate. So what this is telling us, it is not telling us that Bitcoin's immediately going up to 38K. Again, if we look at the short-term price action, we need to see breakouts of these levels. We need to see this liquidity zone cleared out. We need to see a lot more stuff happen. But what it is telling us on a very high time frame, on a very broad scale, the probability of us seeing 38 before 22 has now just increased significantly. So that is a good thing for the bulls, and that again is a step in the right direction. If we're talking about the short-term price action, guys, again, you have to look at the short-term. If you want to figure out where Bitcoin's going next, don't look at the weekly charts, don't look at the fortnightly technical indicators. That is very deceiving, they're very lagging. If you want to really think about where Bitcoin's going next, look at the triggers, look at these points. You know, where is Bitcoin going if it loses support? It's going down. All right, where's Bitcoin going up? If it breaks above here, it's going up. Keep it nice and simple. You don't have to overcomplicate things, okay? Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Check out the Crypto Academy courses. One of the links down below, don't know which one. It is a 10-unit course that teaches you guys how to trade. If you are brand new to trading, I'll go a step further. If you're brand new to technical analysis, that is where you will learn the foundations to TA, market structures, market patterns, technical indicators, simple measured moves, and so much more, including risk analysis and market psychology. So check that out. If you're interested in trading itself, head over to the VIP channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.